welcome to EV Cruising on a Sunday night. Hi, I'm Rosco, and welcome to Sunday night's edition of more relaxed and easygoing EV Marketplace, where we check out the marketplaces for used EVs across Australia to see what sort of deals we can find. And oh, what an amazing night in the world, amazing week in the world of EVs. Absolutely incredible. Just absolutely amazing. I don't know, the whole world seems to have turned upside down at the moment, and the world of EVs, used EVs, is, well, I've never seen so much interest, so much attention. But a bit more about that later, because tonight and today particularly is, well, we're here to celebrate the 10th birthday for the TOCA, the Tesla Owners Club of Australia. Can you believe it? 10 years ago, and it's celebrated today, 22nd of March, 10 years ago, Tesla Owners Club started here in Australia. It's just hard to believe it's been going 10 years. And what an amazing ride for Tesla owners here in Australia. Just incredible. And around Australia today, there's chapters in every state. They got together, had dinners and lunches, all sorts of events planned as they got together and celebrated. Of course, TOCA's like any car club, but Tesla's not just any car, but they're there for the camaraderie, there for the driving, the experience, to share the sheer joy of driving an electric car. And of course, Tesla being one of the first. This is absolutely amazing, and congratulations to the Tesla Owners Club of Australia, TOCA. I'm a proud member. I'm not very active, I must admit, but I am a Tesla owner, and I've been a member for a number of years now. And for that reason, at Amazing EV, it is free to list for a TOCA owner. If you ever want to sell your car, you're looking to buy, it is free to list anytime you want to list on Amazing EV. Use the coupon TOCA owner and you can list for free, and we'll do everything we can to help you. At the moment, though, you don't need much help to sell a used EV, or for that matter, the demand for EVs has gone off the charts with what's happening overseas. I'm not going into the whole geopolitical situation, but we have just seen this market turn upside down in the last week. And if anything, the problem we've got at the moment is there's not enough listings. Incredible situation to have. In fact, have a look at this data now, just before we get into it, because this is just really hard to believe what's happened in just a week. We're going to just take a quick look at the car sales side, the side of the big elephant in the room. We're looking at one thing here, and that's the number of used EVs for sale as a broad representation. Say, car sales got 90% of them. Facebook, Gumtree, Auto Trader, lots of others, of course. Let's say 90% are on. And this figure here, Prop 5791, electric cars, pure electric EVs, no BEVs, no hybrids, no e-revs. This figure was about 1,000 higher about a week ago. Now, this is absolutely remarkable. I've got a couple of theories on it. Of course, there has been a rush on buying EVs. There's no doubt about that. Used EVs are selling a lot faster, and I think anyone who has been trying to sell one has experienced that. Let me know if you haven't had, or you've got something you want to try and promote or sell, because we're more than happy to get the word out there. But there's no doubt this figure has dropped by about 1,000 now. I put it down to two things. Maybe they haven't all sold. Maybe half of them have sold, but maybe, just maybe, people have decided to keep them instead. Maybe half than that number, maybe 500. Of the 1,000, I think, that have dropped have decided to keep them, because it's the first time in 3 years of ownership of a EV that the media has just been yelling and screaming in my ears that EVs are such a great thing to own. I've heard from more people this week how wonderful it is. You must be really happy to own an EV. You must be thrilled you're driving an EV. I've heard that more in the last 10 days than I have for 3 years now. I smile on the inside. I'm not smug. I say to myself, I've always been happy we've been driving an EV. And of course, the interesting figure here is the number of dealer versus private sales. And this is the interesting figure, because normally this figure is 50-50. And at the moment, there's 900 private EVs for sale on car sales out of the 5,791, 4,875 dealer. Now, this number's more usually 50-50. This number, sales, is more like 50-50. It's been like 75-25 more recently, with, I think, a lot of dealer demos coming on. But this is extraordinary. And this bears out what I think about private sellers. They're either selling or they're deciding to keep their EV. So keep that in the back of your mind. I've never seen anything like this. This is amazing. And if anything, at Amazing EV, we can't get stock at the moment. So if anyone wants to sell and you want to get the word out, we're happy to do it for you. But at the moment, the market is booming. Now, whether this continues, whether this, the tide's coming back in again, whatever metaphor you want to use, whether we've seen the fork in the road, whether this is the turning point, whatever metaphor, I don't know. But certainly we love this situation. We love that they're popular, but suddenly there's no more supply of used EVs suddenly materializing out of nowhere. And if anything, with all the messaging out there finally from the broadstream media that how wonderful they are, if anything, people are reconsidering and thinking about keeping them. So I don't know. I'll leave that for you to think about where you see things going in the future. But at the moment, we're happy we're in this business. It's an incredible business to be in. Great that we're talking to people who are buying and selling. Just absolutely amazing. So keep an eye out for the markets in future. It'd be very interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks, of course, all determined by what's going on overseas. But just great to see EVs popular at the moment, and just great to see people looking at EVs and used EVs as an option. And tonight, to celebrate Toka's birthday, we're going to focus on Teslas and used Teslas. Now, if you don't like Teslas, turn off now. And if you're watching, thanks for watching, and good to see you, Mrs. Amazing. If you're watching, good to see you out there. Look, we had a few problems during the week, but we're back now. A bad workman always blames his tools, and in this case, we tried to get the tools working again. We tried to get the operator working again. In this case, we chucked the tools out, got some new tools, and it's interesting when you review your toolkit, look for something else, and then get a new bit of kit, because suddenly we've got a whole lot of new interesting features at our disposal as well. So all this happens for a reason. We're back. We're in business, and we're ready to get down to business on some used Teslas tonight. If you're watching and you don't like Teslas and you're watching and catch up, this is going to be Teslas for the rest of the week as well. We've got Les Posen, the Vice President of the Toka Organisation for Australia, on Wednesday night. We want to go back and hear about the very beginning, what it was like as a Tesla owner. I remember when they were first in the showrooms, and I wasn't that interested. I admit, I wasn't that interested. I was curious, but they were 250,000. I had some friends that were looking at. There was a showroom in Martin Place in Sydney and other cities as well. Prime real estate showrooms, one or two, and I remember popping in, but very strange for me as well. And it took a few more years before I got on the bandwagon until we bought ours in 2022. But curiously, didn't really follow things as much, and I certainly didn't own any Tesla shares. I missed out on that completely. But so I'm a Johnny come lately. But interesting to see what first kicked it all off. And we're going to go back and as we have a look at the Teslas, and this is really interesting, because if we go back in time, and we did a bit of work, and we've got to go back to the Tesla model, the Tesla Roadster. That's where it all started here overseas, and just absolutely amazing that this car, and we first found this a couple of years ago. We listed this beautiful Tesla Roadster. This was owned, and I'm not sure if it's still available for sale. We've still got it there just to attract attention, if nothing else. You might have seen this one at the motor show a year and a half ago, the Sydney Motor Show, EV Motor Show, because this was on display there. Absolutely magnificent car, and this was owned by a guy who actually worked for Tesla. No names, but I think he's moved on and been promoted overseas now, and I got a chance to drive it and got a chance to take these photos. Just an absolutely incredible car. Have a look at this one, because I got a chance to just get some video on this as well. Just absolutely brilliant car.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Just a brilliant little car. Just extraordinary ownership. I think this one he brought in from Japan and had a few problems. Fully restored. There's no way you're paying $349 to start kick things off with. That's maybe, but maybe that isn't crazy money. Maybe it's not. Just think this is where it all started. We did a bit of a deep dive into this one at the time, and found out that a guy called Simon Hackett, he was one of the very first, and so we got a chance to talk to Simon, because he was one of the very first owners of the Tesla Roadster in Australia. He bought one in privately. Then he owned the first one. Then he owned the very last one they sold. And I think they only sold 22. So 22 or 23. So there's a board down at Tesla in Alexandria, a whiteboard, still with the names on them and the VINs from going way back when they first came out in the early, well, that's way precedes TOCA, way back to 2010, something like that, a long time ago. If you want to have a closer look at that, by all means, check out Simon Hackett. We did some work with him, and check this video out because it really is an amazing story. He brought one out himself privately, a left-hand drive one, then he owned the first right-hand drive, and I think there's only 3,000 or 4,000 right-hand drives in the world. There's only 20-odd thousand, 22-odd thousand produced, but have a look at this guy from a couple of years ago.
We're really excited at Amazing EV this week because we're just about to launch this incredible Tesla Roadster in very orange. License plate number Dark Star. And perhaps what many of you don't know is that it's only one of about 20 in Australia, and it's only less than probably 2,500 built in the world. And for us, that means it's a very special car to list on Amazing EV, our dedicated used EV marketplace, because we think it represents the essence of EVs as we know them today, and certainly the incredible success of Tesla as a company that we know today. Hi, I'm Rosco, and this is Amazing EV. And today, before we go back and talk to the owner of this car and find out a bit more about its pedigree, we wanted to have a chat too and introduce you to arguably Tesla Roadster royalty. The owner of the first Tesla Roadster that came to Australia, internet entrepreneur, businessman, pilot, long-time Tesla owner and huge Tesla supporter, Simon Hackett.
Simon, thanks for joining us. And look, when we first listed this Roadster on Amazing EV, it really piqued my interest and I started to do some real background history. Absolutely incredible. And it was just great to talk to Simon. He had so much history, so much information. Go back and check out that video, Simon Hackett. Tesla Roadster, it's on, well, that was a young bloke. He was under 60 then, the host of that show. So much has happened. There is still one on car sales. Amazingly enough, this is quite incredible. And this one's been up there for a couple of years now. You can still buy a Tesla Roadster. Again, that orange one, I'm not sure if he's still selling or keen to sell, the owner of that one, but you can still get yourself a whole of a Tesla Roadster. And this one's been here for quite some time. There it is there. That's been now, I've been tracking this one for a couple of years now, and I've never spoken to the owner. I tried to have a chat to him, never got through. It was a bit higher than that at one stage, but just beautiful. I don't know anything about the history of this car. Better get that up there. Let's have a look. Just absolutely magnificent. This Tesla Roadster on car sales, $189,000. Bit more reasonable than the other one, but this could be a future classic. If you want to get yourself on the 10th anniversary of TOCA in Australia, if you want to get yourself a Tesla Roadster, you can still buy one. Absolutely incredible car. Driving it was amazing. How they put it together, how they built it, I don't know. Just, of course, everyone knows it was a Lotus Elise. Incredible work. There's a guy driven one around the world several times. There's stories of incredible stories. What's remarkable about this one is that it's done 225,000 Ks. I don't know who sat in it for 25,000 Ks. Remarkable, absolutely incredible. So that's where the story starts for us, at the Tesla Roadster, right at the top. But of course, the first car to come to Australia was the Model S. And again, how they went from this car to the Model S, I don't know. I really don't know. And for that, we go back to Amazing EV, where we've had one on, and I want to promote this car for sale. Again, there's some connections to Tesla with the owner here. Multiple lady owners on this car. And again, we went out and took some photos of this car. Absolutely magnificent. Again, the guy this one's in Chatswood in New South Wales, in Sydney. And I'm not sure if you can find a nicer Model S. It's got everything. And who's it going to suit it? Anyone who wants to look at it, thinking about a European car or thinking about a big cruiser and just wants to absolutely drive in style. This car is, again, incredible. What a deal. 65,000 Ks on the clock. It's 2017, not 9 years old. Absolutely amazing. And it's been owned by someone closely associated with Tesla and his family. but he's had everything done to it. It's been maintained fastidiously and absolutely perfect condition. It just astounds me that they got this so right. Now, these cars were phenomenally expensive when they first came out. I remember friends looking at them. Tesla would be great, electric cars, great. This is the days of the Nissan Leaf, 30,000, 35,000. The Imea, 50, 55,000. Tesla, 250. You had to be hardcore keen, and there were plenty of TOCA members that were hardcore keen who bought these cars. Of course, Tesla, again, might have been selling FSD capability way back then. We're not diving into that. There's been some issues, there's been some ups and downs. You've had to have commitment to be a Tesla owner. There's no doubt about that. This one's had some upgrades of all sorts. Check this out, because this is a remarkable car. It's in Chatswood. It's in New South Wales. Absolutely incredible car. This is where it all started for Tesla owners in Australia. I think 2015, this was launched, but I think in Australia, I think I've seen YouTube videos where, and I can't remember. You can tell me in the comments. I think Tesla launched the Model S in 12 or 13, 2 or 3 years before it came here in right-hand drive. So I've seen some YouTube videos where they're working on those, and they've upgraded bits and pieces. There was a different style in the nose way back then, and we'll take a look at an older one. This one is a 17 version, so 9 years old. It's got the upgraded nose. Absolutely remarkable looking car. But I just can't believe they went from the Roadster to this in full production. It freaks me out that's what Elon Musk managed to do and built this car. And yes, again, like all cars, it's had issues. They've been repairable. The battery's good, battery's not so good. Amazing car for 35,000. This is the 100D. This is the 100 kilowatt hour battery. So full range, over 500k range 10 years ago on this thing without a problem. Too many features, dual motor performance, all-wheel drive, absolutely brilliant. New tires, outstanding car. Contrast that one again with something a little bit older. If we go back to car sales, in the Tesla Model Y and the Tesla Model S, and we've got some history with this one because we had it listed and a year or so ago, and I thought the guy, and this one's in the ACT, I thought the guy sold this one, so we might reach out and put it back on the site because we had this one listed. And here's a P85, which is the 85 kilowatt hour battery, 2015, so it's almost one of the first. I think they first started delivering in early 2015 in Australia. And so there was only a few thousand of these came. Sometimes it seems like they're everywhere for sale. But this aftermarket wheels, absolutely amazing looking car. I went down to photo this one as well. It's got the older style schnoz on it, that new older style nose before the upgrade. Again, inside feels a little bit dated now compared, but this a great cruiser. 31 grand now. Like, battery warranty, again, you're not sure what's going to happen, and that's the curious thing about these cars. But battery checks are out there. We're working with Test EV. You've heard me bang on about this. Check them out, testev.co. You can get a battery test now. Tesla can check it over. Get this thing checked out. There's no guarantee, but you're going to get some good miles out of it. There's no doubt about it. Look at the absolute kicker for this one. Free supercharging for life. Do you remember when some of them had free supercharging for life? Absolutely remarkable. I mean, this is going to cost you nothing to run, zero cost energy. Talk about going from out of the bath into the hot water into the shower. I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous, because this is going to cost you nothing to go to a Tesla supercharger, built-in free supercharging for life. Now, you know, this is almost tempting to have a look at buying this myself. Unbelievable. So amazing deals out there. This is where it all started in Australia with the Tesla Model S. And I don't have a comprehensive history. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Yell out, scream out, let me know what you think, because I don't have a comprehensive history of all the models, all the upgrades, all the details. This was well before my time starting to study. Just amazing that this particular model, again, free supercharging is what they offered to the beginning. And there weren't that many superchargers out there. I'm not sure if you could find a supercharger. They thought they might have been onto something, Tesla. So, and now still for life, it's done 195,000 Ks. It's well out of battery warranty. It's well out of car warranty. Take your few chances. But if you know your way around these cars, and there's some guys in the home workshops now looking at these, and this is a hell of a lot of car for the money. But from there, it went to somewhere even more curious. And again, some of the history and some of the steps and were just incredible. And just before we jump into the Tesla Model X, again, going back to the Tesla Roadster, I just noticed Roadster was delayed again. The new one. We'd love to see this car. We'd love, absolutely reveal that pushback again. We would love to see this car if it looks anything like what it looks like. We can't wait. But look, like Elon, I mean, perhaps the devil was in the detail. Perhaps the original planned date for April Fool's Day tells some of the story. We're getting used to some delays, and yeah, this was announced, and people put down deposits on this and unveil probably in late August. Now, I'm disappointed. I would love to see this car. I don't care what it does or how fast it goes or whether it's got rockets or whether it flies anymore. Again, as a Tesla fan, if it looked like that and it was 200 grand, I'd love to see this car again. Just get it out, get it done. If we see it in right-hand drive version, I don't know. But look, Elon, just go ahead and do it, will you? But of course, the next most fascinating chapter in the story was the Tesla Model X. And once again, we went out to film this one, take some shots of this one. This is again based in Sydney. This is close to 100 grand, this one. And what an incredible car. I mean, I've got a couple of mates, Roland from the Zapped AU channel owns one. And look, I've driven one. Just unbelievably powerful, unbelievably fast. Just, again, a remarkable concept. I don't know how they achieved that with the gull wings. I've looked at this engineering. It's a miracle. There's a 7-seater version, similar configuration to the new Model Y, and just unbelievable how they achieved that. I don't know. It just amazes me how they've absolutely achieved this. But this car, again, just amazing to see. If you want to go out and have a look at one, go and have a look at this one. Have a chat to the guy who owns it. Been used as a hire car in Sydney, done plenty of Ks. There's cheaper ones out there. We'll have a look shortly. This one was the 100D. Again, the 100D is the 100 kilowatt hour battery, long range version, all-wheel drive. Absolutely everything on this remarkable car. Just and stunning. 2,500 K, almost 2,200 kgs, but just flies. And talk about cool. I took a video of this one. I got to show you this because, again, to see this in action. Cheers. I missed the climax. I almost missed the climax there. Those doors coming down at the same time, or remote control. All the doors going up and all the doors coming down. Just absolutely remarkable. We went out and shot that one in Everleigh Station near Sydney and took some great shots and got the video, met the owner. That's what we're happy to do. If we can, if we're close to Sydney or we've got someone, if you're interstate, if you want us to come out and get some shots, get some video, we'll get it out there on our channel. We'll promote it like this do everything we possibly can to get the word out there to sell it. At the moment, maybe it doesn't need any help, but yeah, look, sometimes it needs a bit of a hand. We'll put it on LinkedIn, we'll put it on our socials, we'll put it everywhere, we'll put the word out, because I just love going out and meeting owners and doing what we can to help people sell their EVs even faster if they've got them on the market. So keep that in mind. There's always a coupon coming up for a listing if you want to take advantage of that. Normally $29.95. AmazingEV.com.au is the website. So again, this was a remarkable move from the Model S to this one, from mass production. Again, not that many came here. Sadly, they've canned them here in Australia. They stopped bringing them in here to the right-hand markets a couple of years ago. Lots of TOCA owners owned them and have enjoyed them for many years. Lots of people have enjoyed their experience and traded out of S's and X's into the 3s and Ys. They've had one or two at once. There's been multiple Tesla families, as many TOCA members are. Just wonderful to see that they've enjoyed these cars when their family's bigger and then traded on again when they needed something a bit smaller. A remarkable car. Again, we'll go back to the source of a bit more of range. Let's have a look at let's see what the cheapest Model X you can buy just at the moment. Just see what's out there. Still getting reasonable money. Takes a little bit longer to sell. Again, variety of interesting quirks about them when it comes to maintenance and running costs and servicing. Keep that in mind. Kilometers low to high. Price low to high. Like to have a few more of these. Again, a combination of dealer and private, but these are, so we've got 92 Model X's for sale just at the moment. Cheapest one there, 43 and 44,000, a 7-seater. So again, done 176,000 K. So yeah, it would suit someone that's looking to get it, really wants to own one, wants the experience of owning a Model X, wants really the joy of modeling. If you can find one with free supercharging, I think you're absolutely set. That'd be absolutely ideal in these situations. Bit old for maybe the limo market at the moment, but still at 50K. Again, incredible option if you really want to own one of these. A lot around 50K now. 100. They've all done great Ks. Incredible. Some of these probably used as limos, but really well used. An extraordinary number of Ks on some of these. So if you ever wanted to worry, had any fears about battery life, get a battery test. But some of these have gone, and that's 17, that's almost 10 years old, done 176. It's averaged 17,000 Ks a year. Brilliant. If anyone was worried about battery life on EVs, the proof's in the pudding for some of these older Model S's and Model X's. And yes, we acknowledge there's been some problems. There's been battery swaps. There's been some complete failures. Yes, like every car, but on the whole, these cars are running, operating, absolutely magnificent. Love to see these cars on the road. And if you get a chance to drive one, get out and have a look, because it's just remarkable. Really extraordinary that they went from the S to the X. Just can't believe it sometimes. A lot around the 50K mark. So again, they're not a bit slower to sell. Takes a little bit of time. It's definitely some better deals. Here's one, only 50,000 Ks, 100D, 18, well below market prices. No doubt about that. Again, don't know the history on any of these cars. No recommendations, but there's some deals to be had if you're looking for something well under 50,000 Ks. Tow bar. If you're looking for someone somewhere around about the 50K mark, and that one's done 50,000 Ks, that's extraordinary. 2018, 8 years old. She's only done what, 5, 6, 7,000, 7, 8 to 50, 8,000 Ks a year. Virtually nothing. Great opportunities here. We call it silver bullet. Everyone's got their name. I'm going to have a look at some Tesla number plates. I saw a couple on the road on Wednesday night. I've seen some good ones. There's some great Tesla number plates, and you get a chance to obviously name your Tesla when you log into the app, and there's some great names. This one's been called Silver Bullet. Everyone has loved their Tesla. That's the common thread amongst the TOCA owners. They love their Teslas. Not all love Elon Musk, but they all love their Teslas, and everyone's been probably had an incredible experience to own, drive, and run them. And 10 years later, who would have thought the brand that first started it all out, really, without Tesla, I don't know if we've got an EV market. That's probably the honest truth from my perspective. I don't know if we've got an EV market in Australia if we don't have Tesla in Australia or the world kicking things off with such vigor and such commitment. And you can disagree. You can put your comments up. I think without Tesla, we don't have an EV market such as it is now. So absolutely brilliant. Congratulate Tesla in many ways for the innovation. And sure, there's some different things happening now. There's the model changes. Things should happen. There's a lot of opinion. There's a Cybertruck. There's a Model 3. And on it goes. And we'll get into the second half now and just kick into some of the mainstream and have a look at some deals. But I'm just in awe to kick this show off with the Tesla Roadster, the Model S for what it is and what it does for anyone looking for a big cruiser, a sedan that just cover highway miles without any problem and at ease. Just sit back. I'd rather have one of those than an S-Class any day, and I used to covet the S-Class. And then this Model X, which again fits 7 and equipment, cruising along, power to burn. Just again, if you want a family SUV, here's a 7-seater, 50 grand. Again, get a battery test, have a look at the history on the battery, make some commitment, see what you're up against, do your research, and whether you might have to spend some more on parts and maintenance in the next 5-10 years. But you're going to get a hell of a car. There's no doubt about it. So we'll go back to Amazing EV now. And what was next on the list was, of course, the Model 3 again. Anyone who's watched Elon's videos about the hell that they went through to get this into production, because these were made in reasonable numbers, but not huge numbers. And of course, sadly, both the X and the S have been canned in the US now as well. Really sad as they were slowing down in sales, and clearly the profitability wasn't there to keep developing them. But there's going to be parts. There's going to be cars on the road for a long time. They're going to go down in history. Next on the list, of course, was the Model 3. And again, the very first ones we got from the States, as the Model X and Model S were built in the States. The very first ones were the 2019. And you find them, and we'll go back and have a look again at our friends at Car Sales, because we'll have a look at what the cheap ones are going for at the moment. And this is where the deals are starting to kick in, because they are absolutely amazing buying at this level. Tesla Model 3, the very first ones, Model 3. And usually what gives it away is the chrome trim. You probably know this as well. It's pretty obvious. They were the US ones. The very first ones were the US built ones with the chrome trim. 2019s, I think early 2020s. Let's see. Well, let's go back in terms of year low to high, go right back to the beginning. And look, there's still 365. There's some deals out there if you want one. Still 365 Tesla Model 3s for sale across the country. Here's someone who's very excited about a 2019 Model 3. They have got very excited about the petrol price increase, because this one is 64,000 K. So I'm not sure what's so special about that one. It's only done 18,000 Ks. Perhaps they think it must be in mint condition, but that's absolutely extraordinary. So no deals here just at the moment. I'm looking for one here. Here's a 2000. Have we got a 19? Here we go. 2019. Now, these prices have bumped. I'm not sure if we had a look last week whether these prices would be this high. So maybe the market's adjusting pretty quickly. And now I'm very curious to see what's going on, and a very interesting time to have a deeper dive, because some of these cars could be had for $30,000 even a couple of weeks ago now. So maybe the market's reacting a lot quicker than I thought. Here's a good example, probably pretty low Ks for this sort of car. 39, that unbelievable, nice condition, lovely car. These were, again, even at 48, 50, probably closer to 90,000 Ks, which is more typical of this sort of car at 5 and 6 years old now. They were $30,000. So absolutely remarkable. Nothing special, selling because owner has moved out of the country. Valued at $10,000 as a purchased add-on. I have no idea what that means, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'll value it at 10,000 as a purchased autopilot full self-driving. Valued at 10,000. Perhaps but that doesn't make any sense, as many ads on used car sites don't. You can take it with a grain of salt. You can contact me an email if you're interested, because it sometimes it just doesn't make any sense. Let's just jump into the messages for a minute, and we'll just try our new. Let's try this one here, and we've got a comment here from Kaz. I'm looking at getting a used 3 or Y with HW4. Yeah, that will run, able to run. And yeah, that's exactly what I was about to stumble onto, because yeah, it's definitely a situation where I think they are getting a bit more of a premium. And as I say, we've seen a bit of a bump on these ones, cars like this, in the last couple of weeks. But the HW4 models, which I think, again, research, we'll go back and do a bit more research. I think 24s, we had a customer looking for a Model Y who was insistent upon having the self-driving capability. Certainly not built in, and now it's available by subscription only rather than purchasing outright new, which I think in Australia is 150 a month. But it needs to have the right hardware, which our messenger has pointed out. And thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate your support. Hardware 4 is obviously the hardware. The software is not, for full self-driving, as I understand it, is not compatible with hardware 3, which is what I've got as a 22 Model Y owner. So I think it's late 23, 24 for sure. Check it out. And so that'd be your Model Y or 3 in that price bracket. Anything definitely 24 would be the place to be looking at. Check it out again with the specs and the details of the car. You can check that back with Tesla to double check once you've got the VIN of anything. And again, we'll jump ahead right now and we'll have a look at it. Go back to Amazing EV, because we've got a 22, we've got a Model Y there, we've got a 22. Again, all these ones went pretty quickly. 23 super low Ks. Again, this Model Y, a blue one. Again, that's based in Melbourne, Victoria. So I'm not sure where you're from, Messenger, but Chasm Stamps 1987. I'll get the hang of this eventually. Tell me where you're from, and yeah, we'll have a look at. We can keep an eye out for you as well. But I think it's 2024 for sure. Probably closer to low 40s, I'd say mid 40s, maybe closer to 50 now. We're going to really have to keep an eye on this market now, because and how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're back, and we are back. Yeah, I'm hoping they don't jump too much as well. I'm surprised just by that Model 3 that we looked at. Again, maybe they were getting a bit excited, but we're going to have to do a deeper dive into this for sure. I'm trying to find a Model 3 on car sales that's actually a reasonable deal, because I did know a car dealer in Sydney that sold one last week for under 30,000 that had done 92,000 Ks, and there was a 19 model, and I thought that was a pretty good deal. As a matter of fact, not mentioning any names, we did do a battery check on that one, and it was a surprisingly low 84.5% on a Fremont Model 3. So yeah, that NMC battery chemistry probably not quite as good as the LFP from what I've seen. It'll be interesting. It will be interesting to see just about how those are faring, because so the Fremont models 2019, I'd be probably just definitely getting a battery check. That was a lot lower than we thought. Remember, we did that Model Y, which had done 330,000 Ks. That was a 2022, and that was 86.5%. So that Model 3 surprised me that it had done 2019 about 84. Okay, there's a better one. There's a 34,087 K. That's about right. In WA, we can't. Sorry, I know Mrs. Amazing's family. Anyone in WA interested? That's probably not a bad deal. That one closer to 30K. Have we got anything else? I'm surprised. I know these prices have got very excited. The dealer only put that one up 3 days ago and sold it within 3 days last week. That's so. I think there was a lull the previous week. Everyone went, okay, what do we do here? And and then I was gonna say, I'll go buy it. Right. um, I think yeah, there's definitely deals out there, but these have increased, and I'm quite surprised myself. You can see I haven't gone deep down. I don't normally preempt some of this because I am surprised at some of the pricing. That one there, New South Wales, 84,000 Ks. People have ramped these prices. These are up at least, 10-20% from what they were a couple of weeks ago. They haven't sold, of course. They're still here for the list, and their listings are still here. But we're going to track this a bit more closely now and come back to this next week, because next week I'm going to do the bargains available in the EV market, which might not be as good an idea as I thought it was. I was going to cover off pure EV bargains, the cheapest EVs out there. But yeah, well, it'll be very interesting to see if we can find some deals. Maybe the market has reacted quite quickly, and maybe all the cheap ones have been snapped up. Whether there's some arbitrages out there, maybe the dealers are jumping on board all of a sudden and trying to get an arbitrage out there. Be very interesting. That we better keep a closer eye on that. So Model 3, of course, and then, of course, let's jump to the more recent Model 3s. Of course, you can buy a brand new Model 3, high, and then the new model came out, the Highlander. Beautiful car, but geez, I had some buyers who had regret straight away. They just couldn't deal with no stalks. One guy hadn't sold. He was still selling his performance Model 3 to pay for the new one, but he'd taken delivery, and he had buyer's regret straight away because he missed those stalks. Now, I don't know. I have driven both, and people are going to town. Oh, that's from Tesla Victoria. That's very interesting that Tesla are actually putting their own cars on car sales as well. I haven't seen that before. Wow. Geez, you get surprised every time. These are Tesla. That's a Tesla ad. Very interesting. And they're Tesla cars. Wow. Has anyone seen Tesla put their own cars on car sales before? I've been trying to get them to put them on Amazing EV. If anyone's out there from Tesla, Tom, I'd still love to help you sell used EVs. I'd love to help you get the word out. So, best deal on what do we got? The best deal on a 2025, 55 grand. Again, you could probably stretch to a new one for that. Not a lot of bargains in that area, and they were reasonably slow moving even before everyone got excited. Again, I haven't checked Tesla used EV stock at the moment. Should we have a quick look? Yeah, we will. If we get time a bit later on, I'll go back to the Tesla website and have a look at the Tesla stock and see if that's way down. There's been some reports on Facebook that that's way down as well. So absolutely extraordinary. Won't dwell too much, but some news there. Outback EV, good to see you. Hunter, thanks for joining us. Just cruising for EVs on a Sunday night. Can you get aftermarket stocks? Not at the moment, no. We'll wait and see, but not at the moment. All roads lead in that direction, but just not quite at the moment. I'm surprised. Not a lot of action. I think I'll be buying new in the Juniper range, but again, the Model Y kicked off, and of course, I'm in the Model Y range, and prices have been, hammered reasonably hard. People have taken a reasonable hit. Depreciation has been. We're going to see the sales data come out from AutoGrab, and I'll not for another couple of weeks yet. But I can't wait to see. There was 8,500 used EVs for sale. Of course, that number 5.5 on car sales. You'd think they probably got 90% of those, but the used EV data I get from AutoGrab for the AADA, I do that monthly report. I can't wait to do an update on that and see that data, because I just can't wait to see the comparison, just the cars on offer, let alone the cars sold. Again, I'm not convinced they all sold. I think people have taken them off the market. And from what we've seen, they've certainly ramped up the price. But Model Ys, again, there's a few out there, and here's one again. What is it with blue? We've had more than my fair share of blue Teslas for sale, starting with this Model Y, and that's where it started for us. 2022, they were early deliveries. Model 3, Model Y, these, of course, came from China from day one, and barely a problem. We've done 100,000 Ks. Some bits in the suspension now, some bits in the trim that probably need updating, but overall, we've done 100,000 Ks of pretty, well, it's mostly city driving, full DC charging, time for a battery check myself. Cars like this one, 43,000, mid 40s for 37K. Again, amazing car. This guy, I think, is in Melbourne from the Jacarandas, maybe Sydney. I can't remember. I'll get an update on his locale. He just updated that one. It's been around for a month or so. So he certainly didn't put the price up. I think he put the price down to 43. But yeah, again, Model Ys came onto the market. There wasn't a lot of action until the Model Y. The Model Y Juniper? Yes, Juniper. No, not Juniper. I've forgotten the Model Y's replacement nickname now. I'm losing it, but we're almost up for the hour. So someone remind me what the Model Y new facelift name was. And then suddenly we started to see a bit of action because people were starting to either trade in, weren't happy with the prices, or they were selling on the used market. So we really started to see some great Model Y used deals out there. Again, ticking around about the 45, 22s going for mid 30s. Yeah, reasonable depreciation by all means, but not crashing. And I think lifting again in many cases. Just seen some remarkable. There's a Model 322 for 37. Again, good pricing. Not the one. Here's our Model Y. Just to finish on, I'll leave you on this note because this was an amazing car that we featured a couple of times now, and we'll let it go. Pretty keen pricing on this one. Again, 336,000 Ks, Queensland number plate, been Ubered non-stop almost for 3 years by some guys that rent out Uber cars as Ubers. We got the battery check done, and if you want any more proof that these cars are generally doing better, particularly that ELFP chemistry, remarkable. It's done 12, 13 years experience already. Absolutely amazing. I've learned how to get my messaging up there, and soon we'll learn how to respond as well. But no doubt, we might get stuck, as Hal's pointed out, 9,000 PC pointed out, we might get some more European models here. And there's a couple I'm looking for, but I'm not going to rain on the Tesla parade this week. If you missed the beginning, we are celebrating TOCA's 10th birthday. It has been 10 years since they started. It's over 11 since they started to bring the Model Y to Australia. Absolutely amazing that they have been running that long here, and there's been many happy Tesla owners. Tesla have sold, they topped the 150,000 car mark. Look, there's only about 350, probably 400,000 EVs in Australia within 6 months. Tesla probably sold still close to 40% of them. I can't say how much the impact has been on the market and on EVs in general. There's no doubt about it. They've done incredible things. Just remarkable that they have, without their commitment, I don't think we'd have a market. Tesla owners are the most loyal. Tesla owners have had to see the most ups and downs. There's been some crazy stuff. There's been bumper stickers. There's been some incredible share price improvement. There's been people made rich from just buying shares 10 years ago, but there's been some wonderfully happy owners, including me in the last few years, that have gone back 10 years. There's been disappointments, but overall there's been joy about the sheer driving. You've probably seen them at just about a member of the TOCA club and the display and exhibition at just about every exhibition and display here in Sydney in the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 years. Every show that I've been to, from everything electric, when I first started to go, TOCA have been there, promoting, helping, showing, donating their time to. So thanks to all the TOCA members. I'm a poor member in terms of activity, but I'm happy to tell you, congratulations for all you've done. Happy 10th. I'm looking forward to speaking to Les Posen, Vice President of TOCA, on Wednesday night to go back and find out what it was like when we first started. I can't wait. But in the meantime, enjoy your day. I'm going to go back to the Facebook page and replay this tribute because nothing says it better. Thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for commenting as we cruised EVs on a Sunday night. Again, if you're not a Talker member, please find out. You can join, go to the website, join the Facebook group. If you're an Tesla owner and you want to join, if you want to join, check out the website as well. This is amazing. We'll put some details below already and above in the comments. I'll leave you on this tribute to the Tesla's Owners Club, and they have had a wonderful day, and happy birthday today. I'm Rosco, and we'll see you back on Wednesday night. Thanks for joining me.